Buckeye Nation, what's up and what's good? We're back here on another Thursday evening, 8:30 p.m. as usual. Back to our regular schedule program, man. The bye week, the second bye week, hate seasons with two byes. The bye weeks are done. It is 6 straight weeks of football. We're hoping for even more than that for Ohio State because we got some lofty goals ahead of us. Hopefully, a rematch with the Oregon Ducks. And of course, the Wolverines are coming to town. But before that, Nebraska this weekend. We'll break that matchup down here in just a second. And then Penn State on the road, a game in which Rob will be in attendance. And I'll do some sweet coverage from Happy Valley. We were hoping for a night game. They done messed up. Fox is messing up stuff for the biggest matchups of the weekend. But ratings wise, they always pull in the biggest numbers. So I guess they're doing it right. Man, what's going on? How's the week been, Rob?
It's been pretty good, man. Stayed home today. Was feeling a little bit under the weather. So I started feeling a little sick on Monday night. I worked Tuesday, Wednesday, tried to tough it out, and
Yeah.
Thursday I just had to stay home, man. I'm feeling better, and I'm going to be back at it tomorrow.
Man, I was off today too, bro. It was rough. It's been a rough couple of days for me, but I'm back tomorrow and ready to pick up a bunch of leaves because they are dropping now heavy in lower Michigan, southeast Michigan. But yeah, man, you'll be back at work tomorrow too, then I'm guessing.
Yep, I do. I mean, I will.
For sure, man.
Also,
week strong.
Yeah. Also, I want to collect a receipt right now, dude. Last show, we talked about the Georgia-Texas game, and I told you, man, to not count out Kirby Smart in that Georgia Bulldogs defense.
They had nasty defense,
dude. That nasty defense completely just shut down an extremely high-powered offense, dude. I'm talking like how many of these sacks? 6, 7, 8 sacks, dude.
They're getting after them. It was a lot of fun to watch. The number one team fall, man. Obviously, I was very adamant that Georgia would lose this game, especially it being in Austin. But their defense played great, and they took Ewers out of the game and pressured them and rushed them, and they surprised me, man. Their offense is still very clunky. Beck is not very good. That will catch up to them. I still think they take a second regular season loss. But
dude, another prediction I made that's true now. There are no undefeated teams in the SEC.
That's good, man. I'm all right with that one. That actually is what made me happy that Texas went down. That's a lot of fun to see. Tennessee, Bama, I'll collect my receipt on that one. The Vols have taken 2 of the last 3 from the Crimson Tide. And you called it, it was your video. It said, Alabama, your run is over back in February, and it might be coming true, bro.
Yeah.
They're not playing for an SEC championship. They're already eliminated, essentially. So that's really fun to see. Bama will not be playing for SEC title in Atlanta. It might be Tennessee. It might be Texas. Might be Georgia. It's going to be fun down the march, or a fun end of the season here in the SEC conference play. Obviously, Bama and Auburn is going to have something to say about that. That game always delivers and is exciting as well. But what do you think about Ohio State versus Nebraska as we transition to the Buckeyes and the Cornhuskers? We got high noon, big noon kickoff. I saw on Instagram they were partying at Urban Meyer's Pint House, the big noon kickoff crew. Freaking amazing sports pub in Dublin, Ohio, man. Love the Pint House. But yeah, man, break this game down for us a little bit.
All right, so looked up some stats today. Ohio State versus Nebraska, the preview. So we're going to talk about Ohio State's defense versus Nebraska's offense. So Nebraska's offense is ranked 87th in the country, averaging 37.3 yards per game. Their third down conversion percentage, 41 in the country. So out of 94 attempts, they've been successful on 41 attempts. So
Golly.
they're going to have to get better than that because they need to produce drives to control the time of possession to keep Ohio State's high-powered offense out the field. Pass offense, they are ranked 57th in the country, averaging 243 yards per game. Rush offense, this is bad, ranked 99th in the country, averaging 122 yards per game. And this stat is really bad because this could be the difference of field goals and touchdowns and then the game getting away from them. They are ranked, are you ready for this? 125th in the country in red zone offense, 125th. You can't, that means when the field shrinks, they have a lot of trouble scoring. They cannot afford to kick field goals against Ohio State. They need to keep up with that high-powered offense. All right, Ohio State's defense. Rough. Ohio State has the number two ranked defense of the country, giving up 251.3 yards per game. They're ranked 12 in pass yards allowed, giving up 165 per game. The number 6 rushing defense in the country, giving up 86.6 yards per game. They're 28th in the country, stopping teams on third down. So out of the 84 attempts that were put against them for third down, only 27 were successful. So that's really good. But this could really hurt them. They're 24th in the country in terms of team sacks, 2 sacks per game. They aren't facing your average freshman quarterback. This is Dylan this is Dylan Raiola we're talking about. If they give him a lot of time, if this Ohio State defense gives them a lot of time, like they did Dylan Gabriel, they could really pay for that. Also, they're number 10 in the country in terms of red zone defense. So more than likely, if the field shrinks, they're gonna make Nebraska settle for field goals. So the star of the offense, who needs to have almost a perfect game, Dylan Raiola. These are his stats for the season.
Yeah, I see it here.
141 out of 213 pass attempts, 66.2% completion rate.
That's pretty good.
9 TDs, 6 interceptions. But this, dude, they don't have to worry about Dylan Raiola being mobile. And this is a stat that's just wild. And I'm like, what? He has negative 89 rush yards for the season. Negative 89. How does that happen?
Wow.
He's been sacked 14 times, so Ohio State's defense could definitely take advantage of that. We'll see if Larry Johnson and Jim Knowles got it taken care of.
Yeah.
His QBR rating is 62.6, is 62.6, 55th in the country. But here's a key stat that I looked at, and these are against the ranked teams they played so far, because this is crucial. Ohio State is a top 4 team. So they played Indiana, who's 16th undefeated. They played Illinois, who's number 20th in the country. His QBR against them was 16 below. Completion percentage was in the 60s. 4 turnovers combined in those games. So Indiana has the 7th ranked defense. Ohio State's defense is ranked higher. Illinois, they're top 50. Yeah. They're ranked 50th. They're ranked 50th. So Illinois' defense not that good. Ohio State's a lot better. But that last game against Indiana that Nebraska played, they got completely stomped. Oh
yeah.
Raiola,
I was not expecting that one. 56-7, dude. Are you serious?
Raiola definitely turned the ball over in that one. So again, like, the big stats that I was looking at was his performance against top 25 teams, and it's not good. So he could be in for a long day against Ohio State's defense. All right, so Ohio State offense versus Nebraska defense.
Let's break it down.
Ohio State has the 6th ranked total offense in the country, 503 yards per game. They have the 19th ranked rushing defense, 287 yards per game. The 18th ranked pass offense of the country, averaging 294.6 yards per game. They're ranked 15th in third down conversions. Out of the 72 third downs they had to attempt, they got 35. 35 were successful. That's a 0.486 percentage rate. But this is where they completely just outclass Nebraska. And it's the red zone offense ranking. They're currently tied for number 1 in the country for red zone offense. So that's huge. They definitely will not be settling for field goals in this game.
Certainly not.
They're number 10 in sacks allowed, but that was before Simmons got hurt. So we'll see what happens. Nebraska's defense, they're ranked 18th defense in the country. So, they have a top 25 defense, but it's going to be all up to, can Nebraska produce some drives to keep them fresh? Okay.
Sure.
18th ranked defense, 304.3 yards per game given up. The 44th ranked pass defense, giving up 201.4 yards per game. So Ohio State will definitely have to capitalize on that, take advantage of a complete air raid. They have the number 16th rushing defense, giving up 102.9 yards per game. In terms of third down percentage given up, out of the 91 attempts against them, they've given up 34. They're ranked number 61. So, let's see if they can get off the field and give their offense a chance. So mid 40s for red zone defense. Ohio State is definitely not going to be kicking any field goals, but this is what could help them. They're top 15 in team sacks. So Josh Simmons is out. Definitely good in pass coverage. He's out. So we'll see what happens on that left side of the line if they're gonna take advantage of that weak spot with Mikulski. But so here are my keys for Ohio State. Get to the quarterback. Dylan Raiola has been sacked 14 times this game. Hopefully Larry Johnson and Jim Knowles have got figured out, because they cannot allow Dylan Raiola to just sit back there and fire away.
Seriously, though.
So take advantage of Nebraska's 44 ranked pass defense. Definitely has got to be an air raid. Protect the quarterback. Crucial. Nebraska is ranked 15 in sacks. Good thing they are ranked number 10. Good thing Ohio State's offense is ranked number 10 in sacks allowed. Keys for Nebraska: control time possessions. They're going to have to be better at those. They're going to have to be better with those third down conversions in order to sustain drives and keep their defense fresh. And they're going to definitely have to be better in the red zone. They cannot afford field goals against Ohio State. They got to keep up with that high-powered offense.
Right.
The number 6 offense in the country. Exploit Simmons being gone and get to the quarterback. And Dylan Raiola must have an almost perfect game. Again, he's not doing so well against top 25 teams. And protect the quarterback. But I don't think this is going to be. So the differential in terms of rankings, offense, defense, all these different stats, I think Ohio State's not going to have any problem beating them. My prediction on my video that I made, they're going to get it done. Columbus 45-20.
Wow, 45-20. Interesting.
I mean, man, so
interesting.
The reason I say that is because Nebraska's red zone offense is they're terrible. And if they're kicking field goals, and Ohio State literally has the red zone, the number 1 ranked red zone offense, then they're like,
I'd be a little.
This could get bad. This could get out of hand.
I'd be a little embarrassed if we gave up 20 after Indiana only gave up 7 to them.
I mean, who knows how that 20 can come? Maybe they start playing all the bench players by halftime. Who knows?
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, it's going to be ugly. But this is why I think it's going to be ugly, because Ohio State's coming off a loss. They know they cannot afford another loss in conference play. They're going to take out their anger on the Huskers. And every time we play them in Columbus, it is ugly, man.
Remember that 62-3 win back in I think it was 2016?
That sounds right. That sounds right to me.
2016. Like that was
Man, we've done them dirty. They were a top 10 team and they hadn't played anybody, and we put, I think, 60 something on them as well.
63, 62 or 63, man.
It was bad, man. They were a top 10 team that year. That was the year, actually, I think it was. But we've dropped, dude. We put up some points on Nebraska over the years. It's been really ugly. This has not been a matchup that Nebraska fans look forward to and circle every year. Justin Adams on the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show that joins us every Monday. Join us there Mondays live at 8 o'clock on Big Ten Team Rivalry Show, the Pigskin Showdown, Pick'em and Analysis Show. Justin is breaking things down. I'm going to have to watch him more this week because I need to know more about this football game. I just haven't had time to consume media this week. A lot of other things taking my mind away. But I really think, man, Dylan Raiola is going to be flustered with 100,000 fans. This is his first huge stage in a road game as a true freshman. It's really interesting because Howard and Raiola's stats are almost identical, except for less picks. Howard only has 3 picks to, like you said, Raiola's 6. And then they have almost identical passing yard numbers. So I think Howard has a better completion percentage, though.
No, yeah. Howard has a way better QBR in passing percentage.
Yeah,
and
not
especially
for that.
Especially his passing percentage against Oregon, I think it was like 78.
Okay, I got you.
It was like mid 70s. I know it was really good.
Yeah, he was phenomenal, man. He was phenomenal. And things to work on, of course, communication to work on. We gotta clean some things up. That was not our best effort in Oregon. It was the Ducks' best effort. They will not play that good again the rest of the season. They prepared. Let's be honest, man. They prepared for that game the entire offseason because they knew it was their big recruiting weekend. If they can win this game versus the team that's been the dominant program this century in the conference, that's a statement win. Welcome to the Big Ten moment for the Oregon faithful. Anyway, Nebraska fans, I'm sure, are not going to travel too well for this one. I mean, they're 5-2, but it is an opportunity. Columbus is a cool city, and it's a great stadium, of course, and great game day experience. But I don't know. I mean, if I was a Nebraska fan, all the scores that Ohio State has put on my team since we joined the conference in 2012, I wouldn't be too inclined to travel to Ohio. I'd stick with watch my team in Lincoln Memorial.
I mean, tickets are going for as low as $50, man.
That's really affordable. My goodness. That's crazy. Wow. Jeez. Yeah, I'm not impressed with Nebraska's running game. I've only seen them play versus Illinois, and they could not move the football on the ground. It was the Raiola show. And granted, he's been great. He's going to continue to be great for Nebraska. He's going to continue to develop and improve as the years go on. I imagine he'll go pro after his junior season, and this is probably the only chance that Ohio State fans will get to see him play in the horseshoe with 18 teams in the conference. So take advantage of it now and see Dylan Raiola play as a true freshman because he might be a really special NFL player. I'm not saying he will be, but he certainly has potential to be. So. If you're in the Columbus area, man, go see this game. It should be over quickly. I'll say that. Ohio State, if they don't come out with their pants on fire, I'm gonna be a little ticked off.
Yeah, I mean, dude, after like the stats that I gave, just the third downs and the red zones and stuff, I don't think Nebraska is going to be able to keep up. I just don't.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's going to be really bad.
I'd say 52-10. That's my prediction. 52-10. I think it'll be even worse than what you're projecting. I mean, seriously, like Indiana, they put it in bed really quickly, first of all. But let's be honest, the Hoosiers' offense is what makes that team go. Their defense isn't up to par yet, and they held them to 7.
Dude,
there's a scenario.
Indiana's the number 7th ranked defense in the country.
Yeah, but they've played some horrible offenses. Horrible offenses. So there's context involved with that too. They haven't played anybody that has a pulse outside Nebraska. And that, granted, they stomped them. They stomped them. Probably their biggest recruiting weekend of the year. They stomped them, and that was awesome. So props to them. Indiana, in my opinion, yeah, they're going to be for real, man. They'll be undefeated when we face them, in my humble opinion. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, 52-10 is my prediction. Rob's saying 45-20. Either way, we're going to put up points, is what we're saying with our predictions and with our scores. So I'll put it this way, man. I have no doubt that Ohio State's going to win this football contest. Like, there's no fear or anxiety for this game at all in me. There's nothing that'll convince me Nebraska will win this football game unless I see the clock hit 0 and they got more points. So that's how confident I am. And I know that sounds cocky and arrogant. We're Ohio State fans. We win 90% of our games every year. So, but yeah, man, you ready to move on to Michigan State? The big one here in town this weekend. Well, big only for the state, but
yeah, definitely.
Awesome, man. The Spartans and Aiden Childs come to town. Both first-year head coaches. John L. Smith came from Oregon State, of course. Sherrod Moore was the offensive coordinator and O-line coach for the Wolverines last year. And I got to be honest, man, these programs are headed in different directions. Let's be real. I have Sherrod Moore getting canned at the end of the season because I have them finishing 5-7. I think they only win one more game the rest of the way.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. This is also why he's gonna get canned really quick, is because right now Michigan, I see a lot of comments on MGO blog, a lot of chatter on these other Michigan podcasts, and even the comment sections on Michigan Page's social media.
Yeah.
I hear the coaches' names, Rich Rod and Brady Hoke. They don't want to go back to those years. That put them in the dark ages for years and years.
Yeah.
Like it was really bad. So there's going to be this sense of urgency there's already talks about a $5 million buyout, and the boosters are going to more than likely be okay. So I think that his hire was extremely premature. And I tried to tell Michigan fans before the season started, I'm like, hey, like he won the tryout. Congratulations. He won it. But he took a Harbaugh team with a extremely talented Harbaugh staff. One of the best. I don't care what any Buckeye fan says. One of the best staffs in the country. They're all in the NFL for good reason.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody could have coached that team against Maryland, Penn State, and Ohio State. Anybody could have done it. And maybe, who knows, they would have got the job too. But they talked too good about him. All right?
Yeah.
They talked way too good about him.
It is what it is, man. I mean, daggone, like here's a talking point that irritates me because it's not true, man. Michigan fans, and I read it again today on the MGO blog. We didn't have time to get a quarterback. We didn't have time. We were playing in the last game of the season. Nobody else is playing except Washington. Freaking Washington has a transfer quarterback this year, you dummies. The quarterback came from Mississippi State, stupid Michigan fans. So, yeah, you had time to get somebody. You could have gotten Washington's quarterback who just beat you and outplayed anybody that the Wolverines put out there. Listen, man, like, if this coaching staff really thinks they had a quarterback in those three that have played this year, then please let them stay at Michigan forever.
I got one more. I got another receipt since you brought up Michigan's quarterback situation. And you know what? I don't like on the Michigan channel, Michigan Voice of College Football. I went back to the video because I thought it was perfect. It was the Will Howard versus Alex Orji. Who would you
Lord.
take? So
Oh man.
here were the quotes. Will Howard regressed the Ohio State offense when they were talking about Will Howard or Kyle McCord is much better. And this is what
I remember that.
This is what TJ said. Alex Orji has a higher ceiling than Will Howard. He's a Jalen Milroad. Will Howard is a downgrade from Kyle McCord. The culture has been broken at Ohio State. So John Diamo picked Alex Orji. Defenses are going to have a problem with his running ability. Howard is a poor man's McNamara. Howard is a poor man's McNamara. Let me say that again, what he said. Howard is a poor man's McNamara.
My gosh.
And here it is. As of today, Alex Orji is benched. The dude is benched. He's a distraction. He's standing on the sideline. And when he comes in, he's shrunk to one-dimensional. Will Howard balled out against Oregon, 325 yards, 27-35, 3 TDs, and 1 rushing.
Yeah.
Howard has more passing yards than all 3 QBs combined and doubles all 3 in touchdowns, has a better completion rate than all 3. Will Howard may have less rushing yards than Alex Orji, but he has more rushing touchdowns and has established himself as a dual threat QB. So, and this is the final quote. As the season goes on, Orji will be the better QB at the end of the season. He's not going to finish the end of the season. He is benched. So,
what would you do, real quick? What would you do if you were Alex Orji? He's never going to play again in Michigan, but who was going to want him? Like a MAC team, maybe? Like Buffalo, Eastern Michigan? Like, who's going to want him, dude?
I don't know. But here's the thing. They talk about him being a dual threat option. And here's the thing. When he goes in, defensive coordinators know this dude can't pass the ball. So it's really easy to anticipate the run. And here are the stats for the season. Midway through the season, Alex Orji versus Will Howard. Since y'all said that he was going to be the greatest thing and he was going to be a lot better than Will Howard. Will Howard has 1,574 yards, 14 TDs, 3 interceptions, a 73.3% completion rate, which they said, the Michigan Voice of College Football said that he would end up with a 60% rate. He's not getting anything better than that. 60% completion rate. Garbage. So Alex Orji, 148 yards, 3 TDs. How many of that is rushing?
Yeah.
He has 1 interception and has a 53% rating for completion, 124 rushing yards. Cool. Didn't I say he's a poor man's Cam Newton without Urban Meyer, which means he's not going to.
Right.
I mean, a poor man's Tim Tebow without Urban Meyer.
Tough. That's tough.
But yeah, so just want to collect a receipt on that. Hope it doesn't come back to bite me. Hope that, but it just doesn't look likely, man.
Yeah. Man, they're rough, dude. They have nobody, and it's hilarious. And here's what I think they're gonna do. This is a route I think I see them taking, man. I see them using Tuttle as a starter and bringing in Orji to try and create something, just like they did in the Ohio State game last year. But everybody knows what's coming. Everybody knows he ain't throwing the ball.
Yeah.
It's facts. Like, and if he does, ain't nobody respecting him throwing the ball.
But in all seriousness, Michigan State at Michigan, it's gonna be a snooze fest. I don't trust either offense, but I don't trust Michigan's secondary as well on defense. So if Aiden Childs has a game like he did against Iowa, he played an almost perfect game, then they will beat Michigan, hands down.
Is Will Johnson playing? I haven't heard one way or the other. Is he out? Is he playing?
I don't know, but in all honesty, I think he's gonna shut it down. I really do.
Yeah, I think so too. Eventually, I mean, why would Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, and Will Johnson play for a team that's going to go to the Motor City Bowl or the Outback Bowl? It just doesn't make much sense to me. And so I think eventually they will shut it down. I do have MSU winning this game 24-10 in the big house. Now, here's the thing, though. This isn't, dude, I had Michigan guaranteed winning this game preseason. The way the teams have played,
Yeah,
there's no way I can pick Michigan, even at home. Like for instance, there's just it's non-football reasons why I'm picking them to win. But hear me out on this. I mean, Michigan Stadium is not going to be a tough environment. They're already asking, when does basketball season start? Dusty May, his tenor is kicking off, or tipping off, I should say, soon. It's not going to be an intimidating environment. Aiden Child is going to have his way, I think. Nick Marsh is back. He's going to tear up the Michigan secondary. Jair Hill likely going to be cornerback 1. And who's going to be cornerback 2? Jaden McBurrows or some scrub that hasn't played all season long? He's going to be bad, bro.
But listen to the stat against Iowa. Iowa does not have a slump defense at all. Right. Aiden Childs was 22 for 30, 256 passing yards, 1 TD and 1 touchdown. So he's progressed since the beginning of the season, but Michigan does have a really good defensive line. So if they can get after Childs and get some pressure in his face, he's turnover prone. He has 9 interceptions on the season. But again, if he plays a game like this, it's over. I have them winning 14-10.
14-10, dude.
Yeah, I have them winning 14-10. There's gonna be field goals. I mean, so out of those 32 points, Jonathan Kim, their kicker, he had 6 field goals. So that's like 18 points. So it could be a field goal competition. I just don't trust Michigan's offense. It's horrendous. It's the 110th ranked offense in the country. It's terrible. I think they're last in passing. I can imagine they're last in. So if Michigan is 3rd and 1, 3rd and short, they're going to get that first down Mullings. But if they're 3rd and 5 or a little more, you can forget about it. They're not going to get it. And that means their defense is going to get tired out again. We've seen this story. They've gotten tired out. They've given up points. Eventually mistakes happen, breakdowns. So I trust Michigan State more in this game. And honestly, again, I did not expect the downfall to be this quick. I had Michigan's ceiling was 1-2 losses, and their floor was 3-4 losses. But we're looking at this now. It's just we're at this point. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if Michigan can even beat Michigan State.
It's not what I was expecting entering the football season. I mean, I made a video trashing Michigan going for 9-3. Dude, they're 4-3 right now. Like, I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven, bro.
Do you know who comes to the big house the next weekend?
Hell yeah,
Oregon. Dude. Oregon comes to the big house, man. Oh my gosh. But you know what? For them, one game at a time.
Hey, one game and one loss at a time.
And here's another thing. So D'Antonio, Tucker, first year Michigan State head coaches. They've lost. Michigan has lost to them. So will the streak of the curse against the first year head coach at Michigan State continue?
That's a great stat, man. I knew that, but I had forgotten about that. So good reminder right there. Yeah, man, it will be a boring game. Like, neither offenses are elite, but Jonathan Smith knows how to win rivalry games. He beat Oregon when he was at Oregon State. He was 1-1 versus Landon. I looked back at his records versus rivals before the Ohio State game, and he's elite versus rivals. He takes them very seriously, and he wins the majority of them. So I'm excited for MSU and Spartan Nation, Spartan Dogs to come into Ann Arbor, invade a night game. Man, I was looking just out of curiosity how expensive the cheapest ticket was, man. $99 is the cheapest, bro, for these scrub 4-3 teams, bro.
Are you serious?
For these scrubs, that's the most affordable game.
We could potentially go to the Michigan State Michigan game, dude. Potentially. It's there.
So,
man.
I'm actually gonna try and go to the Oregon Michigan game. Actually, is what I'm gonna try to go to.
Dude, there's no way, man. The lowest ticket right now is like $500. It's just
Oh wow, tag on. That's absurd. That's absurd. Yeah, one of a lot of my coworkers are going to that game. I'm a little disappointed. I might go get in the hubbub because it'll be a Fox Big Noon kickoff game, I would think, right? Maybe not, but not with Michigan being 4-4. But yeah, I might go get in the hubbub again, just like I did for the Texas Michigan game, and just see how the Wolverine faithful are feeling. Maybe I'll do a street interview or something. Be incognito, not wear Ohio State stuff. Be like, hey man, what do you think entering the game? Just pretend to be a Wolverine fan, or not even pretend, but just not be rocking this clearly scarlet hat. But
yeah.
it could be fun.
Yeah. But I'll be watching from the comfort of my own home on my 86-inch Sony flat screen TV. So
Yeah, man. Yeah. So Big Ten, other key matchups, man. There's some fun ones this weekend. Of course, we got Penn State traveling to Madison, Wisconsin. Bro, I wrote the Badgers off when Braden Locke became their starting quarterback, and he's 3-0 as a starter.
I think they're currently 4th or 5th in the Big Ten now. They're like they're above Ohio State in terms of rankings in the Big Ten.
I'm shocked, man. Wisconsin, Luke Fickell, you were doing your thing, man. You were coaching your tail off. There is no reason you should be 5-2 right now. You have a chance to knock off a top 5 opponent, get your first marquee victory as the head coach of the Badgers. Rob, I know, like I said, you're going to a game in Happy Valley, so I imagine you don't want to see Wisconsin win this game.
No, I don't, man. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't like how Penn State played against USC. They had to come from behind win. Where's this game gonna be at?
It's in Madison.
Oh man, Camp Randall, dude. That's a hard atmosphere. Is it night game?
I don't think so. I think it's 3:30 on CBS.
Oh, they dodged a bullet for being a night game. As Buckeye fans, we all know how intense the atmosphere at Camp Randall is at night. Dropped a couple games, had a lot of close games, but it's a very tough atmosphere to win in. And just in general, but they dodged a bullet by not having a night game. But I really want Penn State to win. I don't like James Franklin. But I really want them to win because I want it to be a top 4 matchup.
Yeah,
it would look really good if Ryan Day finally gets a coveted win against a top 4 team. But that would be a really highly anticipated matchup to be at.
On that one, I have a question. Penn State, we know, is a top 5 team right now. Ryan Day is 1-7 versus top 5 teams as coach at Ohio State. We know that. But here's the thing. Will Day be given credit for a statistically, of course, yeah, top 5 win on the road. Everybody knows Penn State chokes in big games. Will the national landscape and college football fans in general that are fanatic actually give Ryan Day credit? I don't think so.
Probably not. When's the last time that Penn State has actually beaten Ohio State was back in 2016.
Yep.
And they haven't beat him in like 8 years. Maybe. I mean, I hope it's not due, but they better give Ryan Day the credit. I mean, it's a top 4 team. This is a different Penn State team. Tom Allen is the defense coordinator. Their defense hasn't missed a beat. They'll be in a real dude. I've been last year's experience in Happy Valley against when they played Michigan.
Yeah,
it was it was an unmatched atmosphere, like any others. Really loud. I almost need to get earbuds. And just like the crowd was in for like the whole game. Like they're gonna have to be like it's not an easy atmosphere to win at, no matter the time of day.
That is
I
one
know
thing.
that whiteouts, the game at night, it's a lot different, but Happy Valley, no matter what time of the day, it's really hard to win at. It's an intense atmosphere.
Yeah. That is one thing that kind of irks me about Ohio Stadium, man, is because it comes with the territory. Bama is not an intimidating place to play because of the crowd. It's intimidating because of the team you're playing. Ohio State's the same way because we're so spoiled and we just expect victory. Now, Happy Valley, Penn State, they're still fighting and scrapping and clawing. Their fan base is clawing for that respect. So they're going to do everything they can to try and spur their team on to victory. Ohio Stadium, bro, in the mid 2000s was a raucous place. It is not anymore. It's just not. Except when the Wolverines come to town. Every other game, you have moments that are loud. But like you said, Penn State fans, we are Penn State fans all game long, screaming their lungs out. I respect the hell out of it.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. But I think that is Ryan Day going to be given credit? Yes, no. I mean, I'll give him credit. Again,
Heck yeah.
they're a top 4 team, and it's not going to be an easy place to win at. Highly
Right.
anticipated game.
Hey,
But
man.
going to the talking back to the Penn State Illinois game, I
Or Penn
personally,
State,
I mean,
Wisconsin, yeah.
oh my gosh, Penn State, Wisconsin. Whoops. A little ahead. So I think they're gonna get it done. They're gonna be on upset alert, but I think they're gonna get it done. You know, if any year was James Franklin's year to have a good chance to win the Big Ten, get in the college football playoff, it's this year. I feel like they have all the right pieces together. Again, defense hasn't missed a beat. Abdul Carter, complete monster. They have a really good secondary. They always have a good edge rusher. I don't know why they're never in the conversation for edge rush you. Like every year, it seems like they have Chop
Chop
Robinson,
last year.
Micah Parsons, and now it's going to be Abdul Carter. So I don't understand how they're
Well, they certainly used to
not in the
when
conversation.
they certainly used to be when Larry Johnson was their defensive line coach. They had dudes like Tom Bahali, some other guys like names I'm blanking on in the 2000s and early 2010s. Then Urban said, "Yeah, I don't want to face you, so join my staff." And he's been elite for Ohio State. Unfortunately,
and
this scheme does not fit defensive ends very well, but
we'll get into that later. But I just think, and this is a different offense. Drew Aller is having a lot better season.
He's playing well, right?
He's playing well. I'll give him that. So I think that Penn State wins this a close game. I think 24-19, and then they head into the game against Ohio State in Happy Valley, undefeated top 4 matchup.
I really hope it's a top billing undefeated Penn State team. We knock them for the ranks of the undefeated. This is a game that Penn State has circled all season. Let's be completely honest. You know, Drew Eller, the Ohio win. He wants to play and beat Ohio State with everything he's got. And this is Penn State's Super Bowl this year because they don't play a single ranked team the rest of the season. If Penn State knocks Ohio State off, it's going to be Penn State versus Oregon in the Big Ten title game for sure, guaranteed.
Yeah. And Ryan Day should not even get on the bus to Columbus. He just shouldn't. If you lose that game, Ryan Day, do not get on the bus to Columbus. All right.
That'd be
don't even go to Toledo. I don't care. You nowhere in Ohio. Don't even come to Michigan. I don't want you here if that happens.
Yeah, I don't think it will. We're definitely going to break down that matchup exclusively next week. A lot of videos dropping on Penn State, Ohio State. We're going to cover every angle of that matchup. So tune back in for us with us next week as Rob and I drop videos throughout the week. Now, another matchup, of course, Illinois traveling to Oregon for probably the first time ever. The Illini coming off a big win over Michigan. Is this Brett Bielema got a chance in this one? Number 20 Illinois.
Absolutely not, and here's why. He got too conservative against Michigan. He got too conservative against Michigan. I felt like he was trying to lose that game in every way possible, and he's really lucky that Michigan's offense just completely and utterly sucks. All right. They don't have the firepower to keep up with Oregon. So I have Oregon winning 45. Actually, not 45. I'm gonna say 40-15, dude. It's not even gonna be close. They don't have the firepower to keep up. Their defense, they're so you could say they beat a ranked Michigan team, and say, okay, their defense is pretty good, but you can't use that as the eye test.
It's not a good
Michigan's
litmus test.
offense it's not a good thing to match it up against. But I just don't think this is going to be close. Brett Bielema, he was trying every way possible to lose this game. So yeah. What are your thoughts?
I didn't get to watch the Illinois Michigan game. I was listening to it on the radio. I watched a little bit on the YouTube TV app. I'm on my way home from doing a 5K up in near Lansing area. But yeah, Illinois, man, they suffocated Michigan. Michigan is terrible. We all know that. We're not fooled. Good job. You beat a ranked team. Congrats. That is a good win. And I do think Illinois is decent. They're somewhere between decent and good, in my humble opinion. Now, the Illini, if this was at Oregon, I would feel like, or I'm sorry, if this was in Champaign-Urbana, I would say it'd be a little closer, but it's not. And Oregon's high-flying offense is going to just do what they did to Ohio State, but even worse because it's Illinois, not Ohio State. So
and the jet lag, dude, they're going to feel it. They're going to feel it big time.
It's a long flight, man. That's a long flight.
I mean, teams who have traveled over the West Coast from who just Big Ten in general. We're not counting the Miami, California game. Yeah. I don't think there's a win. I really don't. I mean, Michigan went down. Michigan beat. I mean, they lost to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the rest. Didn't Michigan
Only
State
two teams.
Didn't Michigan State go down there, or did Oregon come to East Lansing?
No, they went to Oregon.
Yeah, and they got
there's only been 2 wins of teams that have traveled the country. I don't know the second, but I know Penn State beat USC in LA, and then I don't know the other win. I forget. I think it was. No, I don't remember. But only 2 teams so far out of like 15 matchups. So
yeah.
That's going to play a role in the Big Ten title games in the future. Let's be completely honest about it. Traveling across the country.
Yeah.
Taking L's.
Joel Klatt offered this interesting scenario, and there was a scenario with, Indiana doesn't have both Oregon and Ohio State and Penn State on their schedule. They just have Ohio State. Oregon doesn't have Penn State, Indiana on their schedule. They just have Ohio State. Penn State doesn't have Indiana on their schedule. They just have Ohio State. So Ohio State's going to definitely have to run the gauntlet these last couple weeks. So there's a scenario where Ohio State just doesn't get in, and it's going to be between Indiana and Penn State for the last spot. Do I think that happens? No, I don't, but it's a possible scenario.
Yeah, no, it is a possible scenario, and man, I hope we take care of business when we got to. Man, there's some big games. I thought it was a 3-game season. It looks like it's going to be a 4-game season because I do have the Hoosiers being undefeated when they come to Columbus. And here's the thing about that. Indiana, they don't really have too many tough opponents between now and Ohio State. So if they come into Columbus and shock the Buckeyes, you might see Bloomington, Indiana absolutely erupt, first of all, or cave in on itself. But they might go to – what's that?
I don't even want to think about that, dude. I just don't. Like,
Here's
I
the
want,
thing.
I
They
want,
got 2 weeks to prepare for us. They have a bye week before they play us.
I want Ryan Day fired that game if that happens. Any of the Penn State, Indiana. Oh, if you lose the Michigan game, just stay in Ann Arbor.
Forget
Buy
about
home
it.
there. Live there, dude. Live in shame.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I think he'll be victorious. I do have us finishing 11-1, and we both preseason picked a loss to Oregon, and then running the table the rest of the way. So let's see it, Buckeyes. Let's see what you made of Ryan
But
Day.
this is a good transition
Mm-hmm.
to the Larry Johnson,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jim Knowles, rumor
Yeah,
feud.
yeah.
So against Oregon, they recorded 0 sacks, barely got any pressure. Just let uh the Heisman front runner and Big Ten QB of the year. We all know he's going to win Big Ten QB of the
Oh,
year.
yeah.
Just sit back there and fire and just sling it down the field. So what needs to happen is they need to start picking it up on sacks. Again, they're ranked 24th in the country in terms of sacks, 2 sacks per game. For the amount of talent we have on the defensive line, especially edges, Jack Sawyer and JTT were the top edges in the class, 1 and 2, and they're actually in top 5 in overall recruiting. So that's unacceptable for the amount of talent they have on the defensive line and on the edges.
Mm-hmm.
2 sacks per game is not gonna cut it. So if there is a feud between Larry Johnson and Jim Knowles, then they need to settle it. They need to find a way to disguise blitzes, to get their
Yeah.
edges more involved, to get to the quarterback more, or else
Well, it is
it, it
frustrating.
it's gonna be a long rest. It won't be a long rest of the season. They just won't accomplish the goals that they came to
I,
accomplish. But my buddy, our buddy Matt, brought up a good point.
yeah.
In terms of in terms of sacks, when he was at Oklahoma State, they they're like I think they were 3 in sacks.
Mm.
In
That
terms of
high?
I I think it was something top 10, but he was saying but it was more like, okay, is it Larry Johnson who is just like, okay, I'm not gonna play to your scheme and my defensive lineman, I'm gonna run the way I want to, or is that Jim Knowles, as we've seen, he wants everyone to stay home. I don't know why he had four defensive linemen drop back in the pass coverage. I don't understand it. It just seems like in Jim Knowles' defense, they're just there. They get into the offensive lineman and they hold them to see
Yeah.
which way the ball carry is going, and then
It's frustrating, man.
they rip away and they go towards the ball. So
Yeah.
they engage, hold. Okay, we're going this way. Okay, let's go. It's very frustrating. So is it more Larry Johnson does not want to adapt to Jim Knowles' scheme, or is it Jim Knowles not wanting to adapt to the defensive strengths?
Wow, good question, man. I was not prepared for that one. Let me think here at 9:30 at night. Overall, I'd say it's a Jim Knowles game thing, man, and it's a secondary based defense. It's a defense that became popular in the Pac-12 and the Big 12, which we all know are known for passing. It's not necessarily one that.
But how come he got 2021 when he won the defensive coordinator
Mhm.
of the year award, how come Oklahoma State defense were like top 5, top 10, top 5 in sacks?
Probably because the Big 12 offenses pass the ball 60 times a game, so there's more opportunities.
Yeah, I didn't really. Yeah, that could be that's
That's the
completely
that
possible.
that's my only theory, really. I mean,
I mean, just think of the possible quarterbacks you be playing in the
Right,
playoffs. Cam Ward, Dylan Gabriel again. You have Quinn Ewers, or who knows, Arch Manning.
right,
Um,
right.
who else is
Well,
there? I mean, you have you have Georgia as well.
well, I'll put it this way, man. Before JJ McCarthy was drafted last year in the first round, excuse me. Ooh. Before JJ was drafted in the first round last year, Ohio State was the only program in the entire Big Ten to have a first round quarterback drafted this century. Before Chad Henne was drafted in the first round. So Michigan's had two. Ohio State's, of course, had like 7 or 8. But no other Big Ten team put a quarterback into the first round in the NFL draft. There's like 6 drafted every year in the first round, or more sometimes. It's just like we're not a passing conference. We're not elite, so why are you running a secondary based defense in a conference that focuses on rushing the football and rushing the football well?
I know, man. The landscape could change, dude. It really could.
Well, it is
Um,
because you add Oregon and USC. Those are high flying passing offenses. Yeah. So, that's a great counter argument to what I just brought up. Washington obviously is going to throw it all over the park as well. UCLA is just going to suck. And, so there's the argument. But when you get to the playoffs, you're facing elite quarterbacks. So I understand why we run a 4-2-5. And Bama runs a 4-2-5. Okay. There's a lot more first round quarterbacks come out of the SEC than the Big Ten, though.
but they let their edges and D linemen feast, though. That's the difference.
Yeah. It's a different, I mean, like I said, there's different variations of the 4-2-5. Whatever Jim Knowles is running, I don't know, man. I'm a little discouraged about the defense, to be honest. So,
I mean,
which
yeah.
is
So
weird because they're playing so well statistically.
if they don't figure it out, and you know what, I was reading that Ryan Day has been more in the defensive coaches meetings ever than ever any other coach, or he has his whole entire career
Wow.
as coaching Ohio
Wow.
State. So if if they don't get it right, if Larry Johnson doesn't get it right, they're gone.
Yeah. Well, I don't
They're
think Drew
gone.
Eller, at least at this point of his career, is going to be a first round quarterback. I think we'll handle the Penn State rushing offense pretty well, just like we did with Iowa. Oregon obviously attacked us on the outside with wide receivers blocking downfield. They did not run between the tackles. They refused to. And it worked for them. Jordan James had over 120 yards or something, so it worked. So props to them. But Penn State runs a Big Ten offense. They run between the tackles, man. They run counters, trays, ISOs, off tackles, like Big Ten run style offense. And so I think we handle that well. And then we get a chance in the rematch versus Oregon and Indianapolis, and Indiana is going to be it's going to be a test too before that though. So
Yeah.
I'd love to keep going, bro, but I am struggling to stay awake right now.
Definitely, man.
Getting
Definitely.
over COVID, getting over this stuff, bro.
Yeah,
I can't do
I gotta get
anymore.
I gotta get to bed early too, dude.
Yeah, man. So I had a blast
Yeah.
tonight, man. Ohio State, Nebraska, high noon kickoff from Columbus. We'll be watching. Rob said 45-20. I say 52-10. We'll see what happens. But go Bucks. God bless. We'll see you on the next one. All right.
Yep. OH.
IO. Let's go, Bucks.